Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Challenge 42 Cutthroats 2. I am Brian Cohen. Here with me, as always, is my co-host, Ali Lasher. Ali, how are you?
Putting the always and as always, both of us here. Wood nor rain nor sleet nor sickness.
And it's
We're here.
the show's been off the air for 9 months, and of course it comes back, and we're both sick. Let's do it. Perfect. Love it.
Brian is just such a fan of Bananas. If Bananas has lost his voice,
Mhm.
Brian wants to show up with a gravelly voice.
I'm such a copycat. I get sick when he gets sick. I try to, go down the bananas path with this one.
All right. Well, Bananas was doing his inaugural toast with champagne. I've got the Gatorade, so cheers
I got
to
the
the beginning
water.
of season. Perfect. Yeah, we are so back.
We are.
We are so back. 2 episodes in one shot. Bad sign? Good sign? I don't know. Everyone's reading the tea leaves on if this is the last season of the challenge.
I know. I saw there were not even challenge stats, but other accounts were posting the analytics of how many preview stuff they used to do, and this time it was just a trailer and why I should be a good captain. And they're like, oh, for 41, it was all these different things. But there was the whole trailer fiasco. People thought the show wasn't even going to air when they pulled the trailer last week. There's a lot going on in the challenge streets.
There's a Jewish song in Passover called Dayenu, which means it would have been enough. I'm sure I've referenced it in the last 12 years.
I'm sure.
The fact that this aired at all, Dayenu, I'm glad it's here. There was a lot of false alarms coming from cast members themselves. Nerys, if she'll do one thing, it's drag production, which honestly work. I love that. But it was just a music licensing issue. We are here. We're hopefully going to at least be here the whole season. Seems like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I had a great time. These 2 episodes were good. There was no real technical episode 0. It was just a pure premiere and an extended premiere. And then in episode 2, it is fun with it being on Paramount Plus that they can have more flexibility with the timing. I know we always discuss this with All Stars, but it's not like it has to be an hour and a half or an hour. The first episode, I think, without commercials was an hour. Second episode was 47, 48 minutes. So I think they can kind of get a little bit flexible based on how meaty an episode is. They don't have to be so rigid with the certain time commitments.
It's funny because I didn't notice that, of course. So that's interesting. I would have I think appreciated the full hour episode 2. I do think there's a lot to cover. I'm thrilled that we already talked about the teams. Obviously, we have to talk about a lot of stuff that went into that. A lot of great listeners did point out that the teams were completely visible in the preview, in the trailer. So
right,
for eagle-eyed viewers, we didn't spoil anything. But I do think I don't know. I kept trying to put myself in the shoes of not a challenge super fan, someone who might be coming to this in their Paramount Plus subscription. And I did think it wasn't as clear as it has been in the past on A, setting up even from the beginning, and B, breaking down relationships as we went. And I think that's really a testament to there's a lot of stuff going on that's relevant right now. And I don't know, for any of our new listeners, I'd love to know if you felt this was super clear to you, the dynamics. I think we could have used an extra 15 minutes in the second half understanding the why about some of these things.
Yeah, I understand needing more about some of the decisions, but I thought they did decent with the relationships. Izzy, she had the whole thing with Leo last season. They touched on that before, whatever she might have with Cory. Obviously, they would get the Nelson backstory. I think they gave the rookies each other all interesting packages about where they come from for the totally uninitiated. So I thought for at least the history part, they did a decent enough job to kind of catch you up to speed as to Bananas hates Michelle and Cara. There was the Cara package with Bananas. I thought they did a decent job with
that. I think it's they did show a lot of it, but a lot of it was just sort of yada yada. Cedric. Why does everybody hate Cedric and nobody trusts him? I thought he was pretty mild last season. I mean, we'll talk about it, but there were certain things that seemed to influence the decisions that they weren't setting up so well. And maybe that's because it wasn't, to your point, it wasn't really show history. It's more what has happened in the in-between, right? Even Keanu coming in with these background relationships, I guess interesting. The challenge talks about things in a way that like Survivor wouldn't talk about in terms of like pregame.
Totally.
It is maybe sympathetic to the editors. It's hard to show us flashbacks of things that have happened online. They did a great job with Nerys explaining that with Bananas and like how that's all happened on podcasts and Twitter and whatever.
Yeah.
But some of these, like Chris seems to be extremely well connected. Shock of my lifetime, you know, like everybody seems to really feel like they have pre-existing relationships with Chris. Will, incredibly insulated when he, to me, from the edit last season, didn't have like a ton of close relationships that I would have thought people would have been going to bat for him right away. So, you know, I take it right back. I mean, it's not the production fault. It's a lot of it's happened in the in-between.
Yeah, and it's hard to show that, like, right? Like, you're not gonna like just show like Scott Yeager clips the entire time, and that's gonna be like what the premiere is, and you know, put on Zach Nichols' podcast, and like that's gonna be episode 0. So I think they can only do so much. And some of it has to be sort of implied, and some of it, I guess, I'll probably only show if it's like relevant to whatever is gonna play out here. So I think they have to kind of pick and choose.
Brian said, "Put on the Zach Nichols podcast." End clip. All right, Brian, do you know where this is being filmed?
It is in Bangkok.
Geography quiz number 1. We're not going to drop you 50 stories. Good job. I thought this opening was really exciting. Like, again, I know I started with a complaint, but like level setting, very, very exciting.
Yeah, we kind of didn't know what was happening. They were just like running around. Thought they were like going to, what were they doing? Going to the house? Was it just like to catch up to TJ? Were they doing a daily? It was like giving like Survivor, like jumping into like the middle of the premiere when they're already doing the embarking off the ship, like with no context. Like, all right, they're just off and running, and it's like, and these like 20 strangers are about to embark, and they're just like running through the streets of Bangkok. I thought it was very fun how they're doing it. We didn't need to see like TJ saying, all right, ready, get set, go. I thought it was a very creative way to kickstart the season.
I did too. I thought like a little bit the format was getting slightly lost, but again, I was like listening for a certain reason to like try to glean everything we can from TJ explaining. And I think we theorized this last week. I don't think it's why they didn't call it Cutthroat II, but I was like, I fear it's because they're changing the format. And like we get in this introduction and then later, like a lot of changes they're trying to like 26ify the Cutthroat format. But overall, yeah, I thought it was really exciting. It's fun, a fun way to get little sound bites from people, right? We hear Cory calling himself the greatest to never win. I'll note that the bio said one of the greatest to never win. If you're just gonna say the greatest, then it's Leroy. Come on. I don't want to take hate on that. I don't care.
And he was it's like not the best thing to call myself, but I am calling him. It was like a self-dig and congratulatory award all at the same time.
Very Cory. That's very Cory coded.
Can we just? I know we'll get to it in a second, but like,
let's get to it now.
I'm not always as in tune as someone, which is not the best, but some of our listeners are more in tune to stuff. Was this Cory and Taylor stuff known that like they are very much like basically on the outs, and he's like being single, and like I did not expect that even in the slightest. When he's talking Izzy, I'm like, Cory, don't you have like a whole family back home? What's happening? And then he's like, oh yeah, we're just like co-parenting a single life.
Cory, you in danger, girl. Like that. Okay, I knew that Cory and Taylor like had a breakup, had a rough patch. I believe, and I will check this out while we were here, that they are back together. Cory better hope they're not, because this is not great to watch.
After watching that premiere, jeez.
Okay, yeah. So they, according to E! News, they broke up in May 2025 and reconciled in May 2026.
And they're gonna break up in August of 2026 because like that's a tough episode to watch.
We have to keep watching because we've seen, and I agree, this was one of the most exciting, interesting parts of the 2-part premiere. Like Cory is like, it's not so much the Izzy interest, it's the not bashing, but like the complaining about the like strained relationship with Taylor and how she ignores him, and it's so nice to like be seen and get attention from someone who's obviously beautiful. Like, I don't even know if Cory and Izzy are going to do anything. It seems like from Izzy's perspective they're not.
Right.
He's just complaining to her about missing his children and his ex and whatever. But to drag her on television and air out your dirty laundry, Nelson is right to have your back and try to put you to bed. Like, that is like, a rough look.
And like immediately, this isn't like, weeks into the season and like you're feeling more of a disconnect and you're feeling more refreshed or whatever. Like maybe like it's like an eye-opening experience. Like, oh, I'm actually happier being away from it. It was like first confessional. All right, let me tell you about me and Taylor. We are in a bad place. Like that. Just like jump right into it.
And that's what's so hilarious. Like, he never says they broke up. Like, that is notable. It's like, we are living in separate bedrooms in the same house. Like, okay, so are you single? Are you open? Are you broken up?
and then another interesting choice of words that this is Nerese's backstory, but not to. And look, they were together for a good chunk of time. They were hot and heavy. They were in love.
Hot and heavy.
Is the phrase you're going through a breakup? I feel like when you break up, you break up. You're not going through you go through a divorce. Going through a breakup, it's like you're done. Like you break up, you're done. There's no paperwork. There's nothing with the courts. Like I feel like that was like kind of like embellishing a little bit, going through a breakup.
Spoken like a healthy person. Any breakup I've ever had, I went through it. Believe me.
It's like going through a divorce. Like.
No, you're exactly right.
We broke up, not going through it. And also, it's been a while, like a minute now. Like you're single. Like, I don't know. It didn't happen the day before.
Yeah, no, it's obviously I didn't flag that because that made sense. That rang true for me. That I understood that. Right, you're absolutely right. Oh my God. So let's like flesh out what we pick up from the format from TJ.
Let's get back on track.
So we figure we are as on track as I have any interest in being. I'll say that. The top 8 finishers of this foot race, like kind of unclear how much ground they're covering or where they're running to the arena. Fine. Yeah. Top 8 finishers will then have the chance to compete to become one of 3 team captains. They have to find a puzzle box in the house and then solve the puzzle. TJ tells us the captains will then be in charge of building 3 teams. The teams will be permanent, and your only shot of getting $500,000 is to cross the finish line as a unit. There will be mutiny. Yep. He says mutinous team members who have the opportunity to dethrone captains. And they do a preview of Nelly T doing it. We'll see how that goes. And then, quote, bloodthirsty mercenaries who have the power to banish people. What do you make of this? Like, is it too much for the average viewer who's scrolling on their phone playing games while they're watching?
It did feel like a lot. What also felt like a lot, as we'll get to, is kind of like the voting mechanism. It kind of was giving like when Bilt, the credit card, like changed their policy of like how to earn points. It's like to earn that you have to do 80% of your rent spend on other categories. You can earn your points here, blah, blah, blah. It's like the second captain votes in the team, but they're still safe, but then they can still go in. The 13 votes anyone else. It felt very complicated for what could have been a very straightforward system, because they want like just to kind of shoehorn the captain part of the whole thing. That felt a little complicated. The other stuff, it's still like up in the air. The mutiny part, I would imagine that's not going to happen for at least like 5, 6, 7 episodes down the road, because I think once they cycle through the captains, everyone's the captain. Maybe that's when they'll have to lock one in, and that's when you will see the mutiny. So I think it's going to be unclear what that might entail. But there is kind of a lot going on in the structure of the season.
There is a lot going on. I loved these 2 episodes. The challenge being back is awesome. I think the contestants served, they ate. Like, I'm like acting like I'm 100 years old. I think they really had some great moments. They were funny. There was fighting. There was strategy. They were at 1,000. I think the format is overcomplicated and going to be a problem. But the players are killing it.
I mean, I understand why they tried to overcomplicate it, because you see in any sort of daily, especially with like the Bananas and CT team that is like filled with vets, they're going to try to gamify and find the loophole and figure out how to turn anything to their advantage. So they're gonna really try to really like spin anything they can. So I get wanting to add extra step. It's like a checks and balances system, like the whole voting structure. But like you're kind of trying, you're seeing a little bit of like how people might try to gamify it anyway. I don't know. There's ways to make it simple, and ways to make things complicated. And I think the pendulum went a little too much in the complicated basket.
Well, let's go to the next part of the format, jumping ahead a bit. So, right, there's 3 teams, the 2 captains per team. The winning team is safe.
Right.
The second place team, their 2 captains pick one person to be eligible to go into the arena.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the team, not including the 2 captains, votes for the second person. The power couple, the captains of the winning team, will select one person of those 2. Then the captains get to select anyone from the blue team. So here's my
I love that like the losing team is just designated the blue team, but yes.
Yes, yeah, the losing team. That's so funny. So it's like, what I have a problem with, I don't have a problem with, recognizing that the game has evolved since 2010 when we first had Cutthroat, that people need more to work with because they're strategizing at a higher level than reality TV was at that time. Fine. Instead of giving the power to, spreading the power across people, you're consolidating the power into 4 people, right? Like the captains on the orange team and the captains on the second place team, captains on the first place team. I would prefer more people to have more of a say. And I don't care if the winning team's captains get this like ridiculous level of power. I think that's kind of undeserved. My biggest issue is why the third place team is just dead to rights and there's no penalty to being a captain. There's no downside to being a captain. Why isn't the person on the losing team who's the gender of the week of the elimination, like in a men's day, why isn't the male captain automatically eligible to go in and then the blue team votes for one other person and then they get picked? Like, why is it just anyone's eligible?
I guess my guess would be that would really open the door for people trying to just like throw a daily. Like you could have half the team, if it's not anyone really, you're not the captain, you could just throw a complete daily and make that person automatically go in. So now at least it gives them,
but not automatically go in, automatically be eligible. Like I think you would do what the second place team is doing. The captain would go in to be eligible. Like this is why it's like so complicated. How are we even talking about it? Like would be on the block as Keanu brings
it's so funny because normally we hate when like Big Brother or Survivor bring their terminologies, but this time it literally is on the block. Like he's actually correct with his phrase.
Yeah. So the losing captain would automatically be on the block, and then the team would vote somebody in to be on the block against the team captain.
What's also so frustrating about this is they're making it so complicated, but like this type of structure is only going to be able to last like 3 or 4 weeks because once you lose someone for like the second place finisher, there is no more vote. It's just the other 2. If there's like 3 men left, and it's a men's day, those 2 men are the 2 eligible people. So they like added an extra step that's only going to be good for like a month, and it's like it's just like an extra complicated thing, I guess, just to like have people talk through and try to make deals, which I guess that's fine, but it seemed unnecessary.
Fair enough. And maybe that's the answer, that like you don't need to put a downside of being captain right now because it will only be a few weeks and then the mutiny will be the way to like attack the captain. But I don't know. It just felt like it was right there. Like, where's the consequence? But you're right. If it ends after 1 rotation, fine.
Yeah. I mean, it seems that, the math says it would have to pretty quickly.
True. All right. So getting back to the way the teams talk about overcomplicating, can we not just pick a team? So like I don't want to yada yada the finishes because it is interesting to see the top 8, especially with a lot of new people popping up here.
Yeah.
So mind you, it was just a foot race in that part of it. Sydney, Izzy, Josh, Chris, Will, Justin, Leo, Annalie. A lot of surprises.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly who you would think would be up there, but for like the vets that are on the season, like Bananas and CT and Cara and Tori, like I wouldn't say just like a long distance sprint is exactly their strength. So it's not surprising. I guess some of the people that maybe like Nerese, I'm surprised wasn't up there, someone like her, but
Michelle
could have been up there. Yeah, but it's not too surprising to see like a group of newbies that plus as CT mentioned, it is kind of like sort of a vet move to not want to be so like in the hot seat early, especially before you know the structure, before you know the format, before you know any consequences of your actions. So I'm not saying like I don't think CT threw this. I don't think he had to throw this to not finish in the top 8, but I don't think there was an extra fire burning underneath him to like win this.
Yeah, as soon as this happened, I was like, all right, cue older vets saying like, oh, it's a rookie move to want to finish.
Right.
And then they cut to CT and I was like, oh, you got me. Because now I'm like making fun of CT. Yeah, I think it's fair, but whatever. I don't think that, to your point, it was thrown or that, Bananas, we see him perform later, spoiler alert, but Bananas can't beat Josh in a foot race.
No.
Like it's just he has other skills.
The little OCD in me is annoyed that it was eight, the top 8, but only 3 boxes. Like make it 6 then, or if it's 8, it should be like 4. I don't know. It's annoying that it goes from 8 to 3. It should go like the top 6 finishers compete for 3 boxes. I don't know. It's it.
Wait, when you're saying boxes, but they all had boxes,
right? But like the top 8 are competing, and then only 3 advance.
Oh,
it's just annoying.
Okay.
I don't know. I like it.
I respect you.
When things are equally halved. So just have it be from 6 to 3.
And I like when they give us full results. Like, where was the rest of the finish? I cared to see when people, which maybe gives some credence to the fact that some people weren't trying because, like, I don't know. I would have liked to see the full finish.
Sure.
We can't get what we want.
No.
All right. Well, mazel to the captains. Annalise, the first one done overall with the puzzle. Chris, and then Justin. I do think, fair enough that Chris CT, Tamburillo, says it's not the best thing to go out in front and, show yourself. I think Italy, it was the right decision because I think especially if you're a rookie woman who might be underestimated or if you were like a slender rookie man, you'd want to show that you're a fierce competitor, a value add to a team format, and someone that they might not want to go in an elimination again. So I think it was like a strong choice for her.
Yeah, like we saw with Jeremy, like when he dominated the first challenge, it like created this aura about him that lasted the entire season. So
one quick thing I want to say about Will, because at this moment he was like giving us a revised narrative of how Justin turned on him because like Justin and Nani did that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go down that road again because like tragically I remember that and it was annoying then and I don't want to bring it up now, but I am just planting my flag that Will is going to get on my nerves if the edit allows him to totally change the story of every single thing that happened and he's now suddenly getting this like heroic competent edit. I just like don't understand that. And again, like I'm asking the world why everyone has these loyalties to Will because it's not the season I saw last season.
Yeah, I mean, even coming out of the reunion, I think people were like starting to. I mean, him and Nani kind of like rekindled it, which was crazy. So I think people forgive and forget pretty quickly.
I'm not those people.
No,
I forget.
Right.
but if I remember, be afraid.
There's no forgiveness.
There's no forgiveness. Whether or not there's forget it.
Right.
That's neither here nor there. Okay. Well, actually, we don't go right to the pick, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's classic challenge move to like give them an opportunity to strategize and then pull the rug out from underneath them and be like, all that strategizing was for nothing because it doesn't even matter. But it did kind of lay the groundwork because we saw Annalise talk about who like she didn't want to have on her team. And it kind of played out like that. But I don't know if you're gonna let them strategize. I get it creates the shock of like, oh my god, TJ, how are you doing this to us? But I'd rather them just be able to, be in control of their fate and destiny and strategize for what they're facing.
Yeah, and I think I mean, I'd be curious as the week goes on to hear more from Justin or Chris about how this went down. But I do think like the strategic time still probably did influence how the picks went because maybe they had friendly conversations about who they wanted, or, if you give me this person, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll let that person fall to you, versus how it ends up going where they pick each other's teams. So they did seem to kind of have some understanding, at least between Chris and Justin, about where they wanted things to go.
Yeah. And of course, this was also complicated because it wasn't just like one person is picking the other person. It was like a rotation of who's picking for who. It was a complicated situation for how these teams were drafted. So look, if you were upset that we spoiled it in the preview, like, this was a complicated mess anyway. So I think people enjoyed it more knowing the result, and then got to see how this played out of all the rookies ending up with Emily.
I needed to know, like, honestly, I texted Matt Lagori this. Like, I don't know how you're watching this without like a notepad. It's just like an average viewer.
Mm-hmm.
You have to just, I guess, let it wash over you and just see who the teams are at the end. But I thought it was like actually helpful to follow, to know what was going on. And in retrospect, it made sense how the teams were picked, because we talked about this last week. It, like, the way the teams went together, I think we said multiple times, like, who picked this team? Like, it doesn't make sense like that one captain would pick this team. So it was kind of fun to see the teams and then see how it happened. But speaking of complicated things, we get to see how they treated Nelson being back. And I thought it was really nice the way that Bananas like makes the toast, welcomes Nelson back. And I can only speak for myself, like, watching this, Nelson tells the story of what happened. It flashes on the screen that he was driving while intoxicated. He says, thank God he didn't hurt anyone besides himself, how grueling the process has been. If there are people out here watching the show who like don't drink and drive because they see this put out there, like, that's great. Like, I thought it was handled really well to address it right up front.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought Bananas giving him the toast of welcoming him back was really nice. It was odd that they didn't immediately jump to the confessional, because I'm sure there might be people watching this being like, I have no idea really what happened. Right. I mean, if they might have remember from like last season, but like, it was odd that they did the confessional like 10 to 15 minutes later. But regardless, yeah, I thought it was very nice. You could tell like Nelson felt like very emotional about it, and which is good to see, very remorseful. I'm not, we talked about this during the preview. We're not the judge and jury of like, the time he should face. So he's back here, and I'm gonna root for him.
Yeah, I'm just happy they addressed it, because like it's great to give visibility. Like, this was a bad decision and he faced bad consequences for it. 100%. And like that's a good use of television, yeah. And then we get the package of all the women who hate Bananas, right? We have the Michelle and Tori of it all, which we talked about. Did you feel like you got a sense of where they stand now? We're kind of like back in the old West Bananas days, where every beginning of a season, it's like a new dance and like a who's gonna strike.
I kind of thought the way they were, I mean, obviously the Doris part of it was a separate conversation, but I thought the way they were setting up with specifically Tori and Michelle was like they were going to try to like be close this season. They were like, we had our full battle last time. We went to war. Let's put it behind us. Let's start fresh here. Let's try to work together. I thought they were actually going to be much more cordial with each other and actually working together. So I guess pie on my face based off the way this episode goes. But that's what I thought we were setting this up.
I don't know that I would say. Would you say pie on your face? Egg on your face?
Not egg on my face?
Nothing on your face. I think like Michelle got put in a hard spot. Like, I don't think that was like a real demonstration of like, haha, Bananas, we're continuing the war. I think they were in a tough spot. And same with Cara, like they flash back to like an old clip with I Am the Challenge and Cara and Bananas. Again, hard to say like how serious that is versus ordinary course beef with them. I would say that Nerys is probably like the one with like the freshest beef with him.
Yeah, and like the clearest, I'm not working with him. I want him out. I'm going to be targeting him. I'm doing everything I can. Like 100% focused on getting him out of this game. It does not have any interest in working with him. So, yeah, I think that was the clearest of them all for sure.
The opposite of the it's not personal, it's just game. I do not like him as a person.
Right.
It cracked me up.
It's the what is it, the Randy voting confessional? This is not game. It's strictly personal.
Oh, I love Nerys. So happy she's back.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. Anything you want to talk about with the team selection? I mean, really, like from a TV watching perspective, it was a hot mess.
It was a hot mess. It wasn't, I think, what was it? CT or Cara had a confessional at the end being like, well, pick last for dodgeball again. But like in reality, being picked last in this situation means you're great, right? Because you're not, people are putting you on each other's team. So theoretically, you're putting like the weaker people first. So being picked last would imply you're one of the better ones. So that was kind of like a self, like a trying to play the victim, but when actually in reality, you're like, it's a compliment.
Right. I think like it's kind of somewhere in between the way that it actually played out. I agree, right? You normally, if you were all three picking as individuals, you'd be hoping that the best people fall to you so you wouldn't assign them. I think the way it works out is like Chris and Justin kind of pick up on an understanding where they try to give each other the better people and put the sort of worst people, or in their eyes, on the blue team. And so like Cara and CT being last, it's like, well, you weren't bad enough for us to want to put you on the blue team. So it's a medium comp, but you weren't good enough that it was like a gift to give the other team.
Right. But also like some of that was on Ali. Like she could have, with her first pick, like given someone Reilly or something like that. Like, she was the one waiting for like the rookies to be dropped on her. Like, yes, Leigh and Josh seemed to actually be pretty good and probably good people to have on their team. But she also kind of played into their hands, like picking people. Like she picked Nerys like second to put on someone's team. Like that's crazy. So like I don't know. She kind of like was playing into their cards.
Well, Ali, and I really liked Ali, and I learned more about her since the preview of like her Amazing Race season, and she was like a beast, apparently, kind of like saddled by her dad, so she's got experience like yelling at a bad team member, and like that must have been fun to watch. So I was really excited, and I thought she had a great showing. Obviously, she like is a team captain. That's awesome. And then she's talking up how she's such a great fan and student of the challenge. She's like the second coming of Nelson. I'm all excited about it. And then Chris kind of like gives her a quick deal on the spot and is like, if you give me Sydney, I'll give you Tori. And she doesn't do it with the first pick, which is, I think you have to come to this like, okay, my team is ultimately going to be a crapshoot. So why would I not just take the deal? Like in the first opportunity to show everyone, Chris, someone earn a lifeline here, I'm going to bail on it. And for why? Because if she had given Reilly to Chris or someone else that she determines is bad, okay, maybe then I understand. But to give her Adrienne is like, why not give him Tori then? Like maybe you watched other seasons but didn't watch last season. Adrienne is an excellent person to give Chris. Why not just give Chris who he wants?
Yeah. And I think we kind of talked about this in the preview. There's not a lot of like dead weight that it's like, oh, you're going to be saddled like with this person that's going to really bring you down. Like I know Reilly as a rookie went out pretty quickly, but she's all things considered like the worst competitor in the entire world. So to me, it's way more important just to like maintain good standing with another captain. And he was offering to give you Tori. He wasn't trying to saddle you with someone. And if you look, you make the deal and he screws you over right after that, then you turn around to Justin and try to make a deal with him. And maybe it's tougher. She was like on the end, so maybe she couldn't have like a conversation. But you do it for your first pick. If it works out, it works out. Then you could try to game the whole draft.
Right. And then Chris, even later in the draft, gives her another chance and says, like, I'll give you Josh if you give me Leo. And this is where it's like kind of an insult to CT, right? Like, I don't know. It's interesting that you want Leo or Josh over CT. But she then says, like, do what you got to do. Like I think at that point she's like dejected. Probably she knows she made a bad decision and it's tough to like rally and not put like good money after bad. But yeah, that was another blunder. And Chris just does it. And she reciprocates. She does give him Leo, but it's like a lot of blunders from Annalie in the first two episodes.
Yeah, we did get quite the turnaround because we have when Deb gets picked, she has like initial confessional being like, I can't believe I ended up at the show. I don't know what I'm even doing. And my friends and family are like, why are you on the show? And by the end of it, I'm like, Deb's my favorite person on the planet. Like, she's incredible. So that was really, she did a great job of setting the bar very low for herself and then blasting through it by the end of these two episodes.
And that's like what the preview like content of her has been, is like she seems to be like a really funny person from Love Island, and that's it. Unbelievable abs. So not to contribute to Brian's buff watch, but like maybe the best abs I've ever seen on anyone. But yeah, like I understand why Deb's on the show. Reilly, like early boot on Big Brother, obviously Cedric was that was great. I'm not seeing what casting has been seeing in Reilly.
It's tough to go out second on both shows you do. That's that's not the best. Stick to the Quarter Life podcast.
So we will later see this in episode 2, but like they immediately cut to like what the teams are doing. The orange team is just like congratulating themselves for their accolades. And that's fair. If you're on a team with Tori and Michelle and Bananas and CT, like you're going to just like look at each other and pat each other on the back. Gray is preparing for the second challenge of the season.
Love it. Yeah, they're testing each other about like what zodiac sign, what their middle names are, last names. I'm sure they tossed family members in there. Like, yeah, they were preparing. I'm sure they probably do this across other like pair challenges, but it was great to see them really studying up on their knowledge.
Yeah, and then Cara is like unclear if it's for the style challenge of the second daily, where they quiz you on like your challenge performance, or if she's just ready to like how to quickly assign during a challenge. Says rank yourself in strength, heights, endurance, eating, puzzles, and swimming. And they give Brad kind of a womp womp moment where he's like, I'm good at all of it. Right. Someone's like, okay, please.
That was very funny. It does make me think that maybe they were like setting them up like you have to like answer these questions as a prerequisite for, because that is honestly, not to jump ahead to the second daily, but like they phrase it as like you have to answer these honestly, and some of them were opinion-based questions. So it almost makes me feel like they had to fill out a questionnaire about themselves, and you had to answer it based off your actual answer that you gave. Like, are you good at swimming? Like, that's not an objective fact about someone. Like, that is still an opinion. So I wonder if they actually had to fill out something and they had to like go by their answer.
Yeah, I could see like production giving them like a preseason questionnaire, and then that tipped people off to like try to confer on their teams of like, what did you say about yourself for these things? There also were more objective questions that they didn't show us people answering like overtly wrong, but like I don't believe the only wrong question in the orange team system was, is CT known for being good at math? Like there's just no way their system worked out that well that every objective question was correct otherwise.
Right. Yeah. They also caught them chatting about it before.
Yeah, like that was But let's go to this daily. Unless you want to talk about which one of us would be better if we had to get kicked in the belly by a kangaroo. Is Brad okay? Like
that's a crazy question. Yeah, let's get to the daily. Right after this. All right, we're back. First daily. God.
If my life depended on it, I wouldn't have remembered to throw it to a commercial. There you go.
The brain still works even when the rest of the body might not be. All right. Right This Way is the name of the first daily. Each team has to run across a bridge over water, get each of them across the bridge, while the other teams will be trying to sway the bridge with ropes and pulleys and things like that to knock them off the bridge.
My first reaction as they were going one at a time was like, oh, such an advantage for blue and orange to see gray go first because, they lose a lot of people until they develop like a system that like the bear claw works. Wasn't an advantage. Gray wins 4-2-2. Good job to the gray team.
Yeah, Gray smashes it. This one I thought, so like the big rule was like you can't go on your knees. Most of the people, I think the gray gets 1 or 2, but like almost all the people that crossed the finish line did it before they started swaying the bridge, which I feel like they kind of overpowered it a little bit. I like when they do the challenge when they're doing this and they're throwing like sandbags or water or things like that it's not so easy to knock them off. Like this is like that game at the carnival where you're climbing a bridge and it gets so wobbly and you tip over and fall off and like one person in the summer wins. Like it's almost impossible when they're swaying the bridge that much. And it wasn't a short bridge. That was a long way to go to get across. So I think they probably overpowered this a little too much.
100% agree. Otherwise, happy in a team challenge to only see something 3 times.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, look, if it's team challenge, so they can't do anything more than 3 times. I guess theoretically they can if they do like half stages. They could do it 6, like the second challenge.
Yeah, the second challenge.
Stages. But yeah.
So yeah, Sydney and Chris are going to be the deciders. I mean, Sydney must love this. I actually was expecting Sydney to address in her little intro packages that she like said she was going to quit 100 times and she didn't. So
Yeah, I feel like the
whatever.
challenge doesn't want to make that canon. They probably want to like have that be forgotten in the lore of Sydney. So I think they'd rather stick to, if I don't win a foot race, it probably means I got hit by a car version of Sydney.
Fair enough. The orange team, when they learn that they're in second place and they're going to have to self-nominate, vote somebody in and have the captains pick someone in. Do you agree that second place is in the worst position? Like I think CT says like you might as well lose if you don't win.
I think what they mean, and I don't necessarily disagree, is like there's just so much more inner team turmoil. Like if you're last,
100%.
Yeah, you're just like the mercy of someone else. So I kind of do agree that you're probably better off just losing. Unless you're the captain, like for the captains, You're better off finishing second because you're safe. But for the other people, you are probably just better off losing. But that's hard to like gamify as you're going through some of these challenges to be like, oh, let's just finish last. And it's only like part of your team wants to finish last, not the captain. So it's okay.
I wonder if we're going to see people like actually throw stuff. I mean, I think having the captain's twist makes it like they're just thinking further ahead about who they want to be captain when and making sure people are vulnerable when they'll be eligible to go in.
Yeah.
But even in the captains of the second place team, only like if it's a men's day, only the male captain is really incentivized to win. Whereas like, and we didn't see this come out, but I wonder if in the future we'll see people say like, oh, I let Michelle decide because it was a girl's day. I let Justin decide because it was a men's day. Like when they want to shift that blame. But yeah, I mean, it caused a lot of strife. There's, as you already identified, not that many people, even from the beginning, eligible. When one person's safe, there's only 3 men, even on a full team. So I did think they were going to do a little more kumbaya and they agree to, stalemate the vote. I loved that. I don't know if it was like the best move. It definitely doesn't make him look amazing after how bad he performed last season. But boy, did I love watching CT and Bananas go at it in this orange deliberation.
Yeah, I did love that CT didn't just like bow out to it. I think he was right. It was very funny trying to like watch CT try to explain how a 50-50 coin flip was not a 50-50 coin flip because he's basically saying like, yes, it's 50-50, but you're coming up from 0. So 50% is better for you than 0, and the 50% is worse than 100, which it would be if we did a vote. So I did like them going at it. It was a very fun dynamic to have them kind of power wielding. I love the fact that, I mean, the challenge has done this in the past and sucked all the drama out of it, but I love the fact that it is not just like a random coin flip or roll the dice or guess my finger behind my back. Like it is making someone
pull my finger against my finger.
Like you make Michelle make a decision or make someone make a decision. I love that it's putting the decision back in someone's hands.
I was so hoping TJ would be like, all right, if you can't come to a decision, Will is automatically going in. It will just be like you have only put forward one person. And I knew they weren't going to do that because it like ruins the mechanism of Sydney and Chris. But I hate that mechanism anyway, so I don't care. And I really wanted Will to go in over Bananas or CT. So I was like, that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. Because he was like a fake pick anyway, because he's apparently the most protected person in the house.
Right. And this is a big point in the anti-tinfoil hat conspiracy, because usually like, oh, when Bananas and CT are on a season, if they lose, magically it's a girls' day and like they're all of a sudden safe. It's like, no. One of them's going to be basically guaranteed to be going into this elimination first. So put away the tinfoil hats maybe on Paramount Plus.
And it's not a elimination that would advantage either of them.
No.
Against 90% of the people who they could have gone against.
In fact, this was the very elimination that Bananas lost to Devin, which kind of started like Devin's whole arc of being who he is. Like this was basically what he did to win. So yeah, this was very much just like a playing it straight system.
Now, the one part I didn't agree with CT on, though we ended up finding out the result, is like I wasn't as confident as CT was that he would be voted, that Bananas would be voted in. Because what is very interesting in both of the first 2 episodes is like we are not yet seeing kind of Cutthroat I strategy. We're not seeing people focus on team strength or who you want to run the final with. We're seeing people protect their friends, their relationships, etc. So in a couple top places, I was like very surprised at the decisions being made, including this one. I love CT. I would pick CT over anybody, whatever. I'm kind of surprised Michelle didn't put CT in.
Yeah, if anything, what she said, I've always like played with my heart. I'm playing with my head. I thought that was the vote in
100%.
CT. I thought playing with your heart is like me and Bananas have feuded, so I'm going to vote against him. But now it's like I'm going to play with my head. I'm going to vote in against CT, who doesn't seem like he's like better version of himself in shape CT. So like he doesn't seem like he's in final shape CT. So like I thought that's where she was going, was voting in CT.
I was shocked. So whatever, CT's got the social game going on. He doesn't get in the muck with as many people's bananas. I also thought when Michelle said CT will never forgive me if I put him in, I was like, I don't know, like if somebody's going to carry a grudge versus someone's going to understand if you cry to them and say like, I was in a really hard spot. Like I didn't know what to do. I felt, like I would think CT would be more likely to be forgiving than Bananas.
Yeah, and CT's never been one to like wield power and like rally the house. Like that's not his like MO. So I think he 100% would be more willing to like be more just pissed at Bananas that this played out the way it did, rather than be pissed at Michelle. And Bananas has already like been pissed at Michelle for a whole season, so it's very easy for him just to pick up where he left off.
No, agree. So we go to the arena. I mean, there's like conversation on the blue team, but it really does boil down to thinking that it's going to be Josh or Cedric going in. And I don't know, we don't like hear much about it, except everybody seems to want Cedric out because he's a snake. Like, am I misremembering Cedric's reputation? Is that more, I was going to say bleed from Big Brother, but wasn't he like the first out?
Yeah, I think that's more of just people maybe watching back that season and seeing him give confessionals of like talking about being like a strategic guy and like trying to play both sides and keeping himself safe and things like that. What was odd was like the one confessional one scene we did see was him and Sydney cutting a deal to be like, you keep me safe, I'll keep you safe. So, again, egg on my face. I thought Cedric would be safe. And then sure enough, boom, they just voted him in.
Right, 100%. And I think it's like we had to see that so that Cedric, when he has his moment, when he goes in, when they pick him to go in, and he's like, Sydney, I told you we made a deal. This is war. Yep. It's like, good job, Cedric. Like Cedric, for having been on one episode, really made a play to like give me another chance to come back. He like tried to make the best of what he had. It seems like nobody wanted to work with him this season. Could not find inroads.
Yeah, no, maybe for him, this is like his Tony Vlachos game changer season. He'll come back, winners at war, and get it done.
I don't know that his first season can equate to Tony's season.
Probably not. But it was probably the best that Cedric will probably ever do. So,
all right, so they're playing Burnout.
Yes,
and that's
Burnout.
All I want to describe.
There's posts with lights on it representing each person's color. You have to run through hitting the light to turn it to your color. Whoever has the most lights after 5 minutes wins, with the added caveat that I did not think would play out. But if someone gets all the lights lit up for their color, the game is automatically over and they win. And sure enough, that is what happens because Cedric does not know how to hit a button. And every time he smacks the light, it never turns on, and Banana just smokes it.
Yeah, when a rule is introduced in voiceover that you'd think they wouldn't have to say, then it's like a giveaway. Same with the you must answer all questions truthfully, I think was also in voiceover. It's like, okay, interesting. I didn't know Bananas was a DJ. That I knew he was a small business owner. I knew other things about him. I did not know he was a DJ.
F, marry, kill the DJs of the world between Bananas, James Kennedy, Kyle Cook.
Ooh, I think you gotta marry Kyle. Not that it really worked out for him. I think you've got to kill James Kennedy and you've got to F Bananas.
Yeah.
What about you?
That's probably. I think. I don't know if I could kill James Kennedy. He's just such an entertaining person. I don't know what like the equivalent of the F marry kill is in that world, but he is just. I miss him on my television. He's a horrible person, but I miss him on my television.
Well, I did want to, when I thought it was just going to be one episode, I have a little section of, not sections, I have one word to myself to ask you about some modern Bravo adjacent television, but there's a lot to discuss. We have 2 episodes. I might have to kick it to next week.
You pumped it to episode 3.
Are you watching House of Stassi?
I watched the first 2.5 episodes.
All right, next week, watch the full season. We'll talk about it.
I have a question. Is the full season out? Because I keep looking at my
Yes.
Hulu and it's showing like the next episode's not available till like August 13th or something like that. But is it just out?
It's out. I mean, I watched 1,000 episodes. I had like
I don't
6
know.
or 9
I'm
episodes.
so confused.
I call Plain View Sue. Ask her how many episodes are out.
She's not a big fan now.
All right. Well, honestly, I'll say this about House of Stassi. It has changed how I've been watching these first 2 episodes because it does, for reality TV fans out there, it's a new kind of twist on the genre where they are breaking the fourth wall a lot, talking about producing the show.
Yeah.
It's almost like what Bananas does if he were just like, I'm producing this fight right now. Instead of that, he just does the fight. So it really is an interesting, it brings a new lens to like even a competition show of these fights that are happening.
It reminded me, I only watched the first season, but it reminded me a lot of the House of Villains show, where that was like kind of a spoof on a reality competition show to some degree, but they tried to get fourth wall-y adjacent with stuff. So, but I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right. So back to the elimination. I did stop the episode to see how much time was left. And they did Cedric, I think, a favor in trying to extend the edit. Bananas completed this with 4 minutes and 17 seconds left on the clock of the 5 minutes.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
He wanted 50 seconds? That's crazy.
And I went back because I was like, oh, maybe the timer's like ticking up. But like when Bananas has 1 left, or Cedric has 1 left, there's like 4:20 something on the clock. And then the last shot is him with 4:17 when they declare the winners.
That's crazy.
I think that's why everyone keeps talking about it as like a brutal ASS whooping. Although, as someone says, BTA in the beginning of episode 2, I had never heard of that. Belt to ass.
I guess so. Beat that ass? Yeah, I don't know. Some version.
My audience is familiar with it, apparently. No comments from the peanut gallery.
Is it belt?
First timer. Belt to ass.
Okay.
Yeah, so Cedric goes out crying. TJ, so nice, so sweet to Cedric.
Yeah,
Did I say Nelson?
No, he said I think he said Cedric.
Okay.
But this kind of turns into like a someone from the South of like being super nice to your face, but then actually like talking shit behind your back. Like,
yeah,
it's like, oh, Cedric, you're the nicest dude ever. That was a BTA. That was crazy. I couldn't believe that from TJ.
Well, he didn't contradict himself. He was like, you are the nicest. He was, and you care. He wasn't like, you're an amazing competitor. This was a nail biter. And then he was like, loser. He was like, you're so sweet. Bless your heart.
Yeah. And then I know they picked the captains, and I know sometimes like for the other of these formats, it's like I can't get into like the captain picking. I don't know. It's not moving the needle for like how I feel like it's going to impact the next episode. For me, right until like I guess maybe when they lock in whoever is going to be the forever captain, and then I think that could be an interesting thing. But like for me, it's out of sight, out of mind. And then once it gets to the voting, I'll figure out who the captains are and how it impacts things. Like that just is not for me. It's not grabbing me.
Yeah, no, agreed. Because you have to think like 8 episodes ahead to appreciate it. We're like, basically, the long and short of it is if it's a girl's day next week, you want to be the captain as a girl and you don't want to be a captain as a guy. And Tori sets this up in episode 2, but I was thinking it like the only marginal benefit of being a captain on your off-gender week is you can cut deals. You could try to cut deals that probably won't be honored next week because they're probably know as well as you do that this format's going to shift up at some point soon. So yeah, other than the girl picks where I was like, okay, like these are the women that the team is protecting. It's like too hard to game out. Too much work.
Agreed.
And like even Chris is like, I'm picking Keanu because I want to make sure he's available 2 weeks from now, that he won't be eligible to be the male captain the next time it's a men's elimination day. And like good on Chris. Like Chris, the best strategist in the house.
It's the only thing that Chris is the best at, according to a lot of people.
It is hard if this was really sprung on them to be thinking that quickly on the spot.
I did like it was at the beginning, I think, of episode 1 when Brad was like, if anyone's gonna figure out how to gamify this system, like I know it's gonna be you talking about that. So I did like that. That was funny.
That was extremely relatable, where Brad is like, he's washing his hands with it, and he's sort
Yeah.
of like, let me know when it's my turn.
Yeah.
And
I'm not
bananas will
getting
come into
involved
play.
in the group project. Just put my name at the top. Let me get the A along with you. We'll figure it out.
All right, so let's shuffle right into episode 2. Tori again, almost like playing too hard. Like, you can't accuse the vets of playing too hard because they're the vets. So like this conversation with Keanu, I feel like if it was Annalie, it would be like too much. But the fact that it's Tori, like she's able to pull it off. But like Keanu, like this whole episode, it was a weird episode for him because, on the heels of Chris saying, I want him, he's going to be our scapegoat. That's not great. He's going to go in every week. That's not great. And then he thinks, though, he has way more power than he does with his Big Brother alliance that's not even on his team.
Right.
And he like thinks he could control this whole vote when he has no powers. Like, again, rough episode for Keanu. Is that kind of like consistent with his Big Brother? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's his vibe. That's his vibe. And also like being so confident in his decision making despite everyone in his ear telling him something like different. But he's like, no, I'm right, you're wrong. Feeling like way overpowered than he actually is. Like this is Keanu. So like we are getting Keanu from Big Brother, which is exciting because he's a mess.
And he won America's Player with that, or America's Favorite?
I really don't know why. He was, I guess because he was like the underdog and he had to keep winning things and doing. It also there weren't a lot of favorite people, I would say, from that season. So I don't think there was a lot of big people to compete against once Rachel Reilly went out.
Got it. What do you make of Letty? I mean, we didn't see much of her in episode 1. We did see her with the Max Dawson memorial foot and pot, exfoliating her skin in the pool at the instruction of Bananas. Then really episode 2 is like probably her more breakout episode.
Yeah, Cara kind of defines her pretty well. Like you don't know what you're gonna get. She's a box of chocolates. Like 1 minute she's doing WWE, she's winning pageants, she's exfoliating in the pool, she's calling people out, she's like politicking her way off the block. Like she's kind of doing all these different things. So I'm for it. Like, I mean, we were pretty high on her from like the split second like opening shot trailer that we saw her in. And there's no reason that I've seen so far for these 2 episodes to back off at all. Like she seems like a real go-getter in this world.
Yeah. I mean, you feel like we're getting Big Brother's Keanu. I feel like we are getting Letty's Wikipedia Letty. Like we're hearing about all the highlights.
Yeah.
They are largely exaggerated. Like some of the listeners were like, oh, she was never in the WWE. Tell that to the montage. Like she never did anything, but she apparently makes it her personality here. So yeah, she's wild. Shout out to the team that found her for Dondi and others. Cause like she's bizarre. Like she is bizarre.
Yeah, no, perfect fit for a reality competition show, especially one that I'm watching. So I appreciate it.
Totally. All right. Do we call this the nightly?
Yeah, we don't really get too many nightlies. A lot of times it's either, I think, Challenge Stats call me out. I feel like nightlies are either very early in the season or very end of the season. I don't think we get a lot of like mid-season nightlies. But here we get a beginning season nightly on top of one of the big Bangkok buildings. It's a team bonding challenge. I did like the structure of this where one person is in like a little cylinder above the building. The other people are all blindfolded and earmuffs and like supposed to be, you can't see or hear. There's questions that the people have to answer honestly, and you have to figure out who's the missing person.
Yes, yeah. I was like, even this is convoluted. Like
it was tough that like they had to push a button for green or red and teach you how to translate the green or red because they can't see the green or red. Can't they just get a button that says yes or no and have that button just say like
voice
yes
changer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like a generic like Siri voice that just says yes or no. I don't know why you need the green or red when people can't see green or red.
I like that they're trying things, right? Like, presumably this will take the place of trivia. Like, this is like the biggest swing probably from the actual trivia format. Like, who's in the box? Like, it was an interesting swing. I don't think it was successful, especially like if you can't cough, the challenge is broken. Like,
Yeah.
Cara was a different story, but like
Yeah.
somebody sniffling because they're 50 stories up and the wind hit them in the face should not DQ them from a challenge.
I agree. Like, if you're gonna do this, like, I don't know the logistics of launching people off the side of a building, but maybe just have them all on the other sides of the building, so like they can't. If you could breathe without it being obvious, like still who it is. Maybe like on one side of the building, they don't have clearance rights for making them fall or whatever. I don't know, but like there was a way to do it. Like I felt bad for I don't know who was it, Reilly or Annalise, whoever the one was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like just coughing because she's sick. Like, look, I'm coughing. I can't make it to a podcast without coughing, so I would have been the one DQ'd. The car thing is a whole other story, but like for that, like come on, like you should figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think it would be like noise canceling headphones instead of a blindfold, like, and then you can see the lights, and then you can't.
That would be better. Yeah, that'd be better. But maybe I don't know. But is there like a scary, like putting noise canceling headphones on the top of a building? I don't know. Is there like a safety risk? I don't. Yeah.
But as opposed to being blindfolded,
I don't know. Both. Well, they were both. They were blindfolded, and maybe like you can't cut off all senses on the top of a building.
Well, I think you'd have to take the blindfold off and let them see the light. I don't know. It just like it felt like again a swing and like not a connect.
I like the idea though. The concept is interesting.
Yeah.
Like guess your teammate. It's an interesting setup.
We tried something.
We did. So can we get to the tiebreaker between blue and orange? Because I've never. All right, I was about to say something egregious. But like, this is a crazy thing that they did. How they set this up? There's a trivia question. Cara gets it wrong. Tori gets the same question and gets it right, and that's how it's determined. She doesn't get her own question.
Reverse.
That's crazy.
Well, yeah, that is true. Like, it's weird that it's almost like because they dropped Tori before they asked Cara.
Right, and she like what if
they dropped her too quickly? Like, yeah,
Cara. Also, like if you know, like I know like one or two of them, you get the full credit because the other person says all the answers. I thought she was just giving her answer just to see, like, oh, did you know this answer?
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, it's over. You win. It's like, what the hell?
It was.
I said the Brady Bunch kids or something next. So what's going on?
It was mishandled for a million reasons. Also, I felt like the team, like, blaming Cara for not being scared the second time. It's like, it's much scarier to be blindfolded and feel like you're being led off a building. Like, that is terrifying.
Right.
But yeah, to your point, stupid, makes no sense. It's not how they have traditionally done trivia. You don't like get a chance to steal the question. And it just, no disrespect to South Park. And I think maybe they thought it would go more than one question. But why is it suddenly random pop culture trivia? Why is it not like how many different locations is the challenge filmed at? Or when was the original season of Cutthroat? Like, you could have asked like challenge-centric questions.
Well, I guess, I mean, that is a Paramount Plus property, right? So South Park, they're all in the same umbrella. So cross promotion.
There you go. Yeah, so keep workshopping this. I'll give them a couple seasons to work a challenge out and see how to make it work.
There's something there. They needed to spend a little bit more time half baking this.
I did like how they rolled out the information where they just announced Gray as the winner and didn't like chastise Orange for cheating until after they had time to be shocked. That was great.
I like that too. I believe everyone's reactions too. I thought they were all like very confused. Like, I don't understand how did we not win? I liked it.
Totally. And then like I felt bad for the blue team because like to get DQ'd completely and lose after you just lost, you were a person down. You're like the runt team. It's a bummer, but to accuse Cara of throwing the challenge on a girl's day is deranged.
This is like, I mean, I don't know if it's like the same level, but this was giving like the CT of it all. Like what justice for Lecca? Like, what was he gaining from like trying to get Lecca out? Like, what is Cara gaining? And then she's magically just gonna get it right on the trivia portion. Like, also, this is not something that's new for Cara, as she points out. Like, she has mental breakdowns over heights for her entire history. So this is like very much on par for her. What a silly argument.
Yeah, ridiculous. And then in continued silliness, Keanu is just again like playing the wrong game. Like he's like acting like the whole house is where he can be playing and he can be keeping these tight alliances elsewhere. And like that's
He was
true.
acting like he was HOH. Like that's what he was acting.
Right.
Like
Right.
without half the power that he would have in the challenge, like the captain on the non-men's day.
Right. And like it's just irrelevant. It should be irrelevant to him at this point. Like him gunning to get Izzy thrown in is just stupid. Like I don't know, he didn't watch, he like clearly didn't watch last season. He hasn't waited long enough to like take a temperature of relationships in the house. He should, to Adrienne's point, at least have a conversation with her. I mean, she was a little on a high horse because she didn't have a conversation with him either. I'm sure she had an agenda, like her agenda being Izzy would never be the one going in. She didn't talk to him to get his thoughts about it, but he didn't kiss the ring of like the veteran status person, and that was a flop.
Yeah, like if you're gonna try to like rally votes as a rookie, like at least have some idea of where the votes are going, and have like a crew behind you. And he had like no one behind him, so
yeah. And then of like domino flop effect, Anna Leigh going to Adrienne and flubbing that initial contact completely. Like Anna Leigh, I believe that she is a great competitor on The Amazing Race. She's shown herself to be a good competitor in the first challenge this season, but she got absolutely like Cedric, bananas to Cedric by Adrienne, catching her in kind of unnecessarily lie after lie. Like she should have just gone in and said to Adrienne, like, what are you thinking? Instead, it wasn't, they didn't show Anna Leigh saying it, but clearly Anna Leigh indicated to Adrienne that Izzy might be the vote, which again, if you're a student of the game, like don't tell one of the Brits that Izzy might be the vote.
Yeah, and it's so fun to watch Adrienne 2.0, like to see the difference of like her level of confidence coming into this season as opposed to being like the rookie, like bright eye, like what am I doing? Where do I go from her last season? And now she's coming in like so confident with where she stands. She has a relationship. She knows how to play the game. She trusts herself physically. Like if things do blow up, she knows she can go in there and win and do what she needs to do. So it is so fun to watch like the evolution of like the sophomore version of Adrienne.
100%. I think you're right. Like she's always had the game sense. Like I think that was a strong suit even on her first season. But the confidence is just like
it's
unmatched.
oozing. It's oozing out of her.
And then a third flop item for Anna Leigh. I don't want to say strike because like I'm in on Anna Leigh being here, but in the blue team nomination ceremony, whatever we call it, why does she feel like she has to confess and say like, oh, I may have cleared my throat. It may have been me who DQ'd us. Take that. Right. I was going to say to the grave, to the reunion, like wait until that airs. Don't out yourself right before they nominate people.
Yeah. If you're going to air it, like maybe say it right when it happens and like be like, I'm a trustworthy person. I'm going to air it. But like the longer you wait, and I like that Leigh called her out, like you're just now trying to spin the narrative of like, you're like playing the martyr of like, oh, you're the ones who's admitting to it. Like, no, now you're just like trying to like gain favor by doing it. You should have done it when it first happened, or just not say it at all. So yeah, that was not a good game move.
Bananas swimming up in goggles during that moment and saying, "Do the right thing and nominate yourself." It's a top 10 moment all time.
I cackled to the point. Also, I thought that was someone on their team saying, it. Like, oh, like that is like what the someone's Liberty would do. And then it was like to see it was Johnny. It was so perfect. It was so good. Unbelievable moment.
And then shout out to Reilly for making an attempt to appeal to Brad of like, numbers are our strength. So put in a strong person to protect numbers. It's Reilly's only pitch. So kudos to her for trying to make it, but you're way too early in the season for that logic. Like they're going to lose 2 people at least before they start thinking we have to protect our numbers. I will say I was shocked at how genuinely shocked and upset Reilly appeared to be, because the second she was assigned to this team, she had to know that she was going in over Anna Leigh or Leigh.
Right. Also, like any rookie, like it's your first elimination. Like if you don't go in,
well, Anna Leigh and Leigh are also.
But sure, but like Leighy's obviously clearly like the best of the 3 of them. So like, just between the 2 of them at that point.
Yeah, when she asked for the feedback, like, what was your deciding factor? I was like, that blinking meme. Like, I was just like, it's not that you're annoying. Like, it's just like you're next to two more physical people. Like, that's
Also,
what it is.
And also the problem is that pitch about like, oh, let's vote in our strong to stay. Like, that's not for Brad. Like, that's also the wrong. Brad is like, let's get rid of the weak. That's his MO. So if you're saying like, let's vote, I'm weaker, so let's vote in the stronger person. Perhaps be like, okay, then let's just vote in you to get you out of here. Then,
right.
That's the more Brad focus.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the calculus right now, is that like you weaken our team more than losing you would weaken our team. Yeah. And then like win-win. If you win, great. Like, you'll come back.
I also do wonder. I know TJ says it's permanent, but obviously we're going to see mutinies at some point, I guess, to overthrow the captainship. So maybe there aren't going to be people moving. But I do wonder if people think they're not telling the truth about the permanent thing, that there will be a chance to change teams later on. Because, I mean, it's not like they can buy whatever they want. Like, the fact that there is no chance to change teams, theoretically, it would be a genuine shock. Like, I thought there absolutely would be at some point chances to defect and things like that. So I do wonder if people think at a certain point this permanent thing will fade away.
Well, TJ told us the teams are permanent. That was like when everybody was running. So I don't know that was like delivered.
Was that not in the speech to the
I think that was voiceover. I mean, like, look, I don't know what he's not going to show that and then lie to us.
I guess so.
I think there would be like a game show rule against telling them something too, and like these teams are permanent. But I had my fingers crossed. Well, I don't know.
Well, he did that with the prize pool, right? The whole thing, like, if it was actually just kidding, it was really $1 million we're playing for.
Yeah, but that's not like a lie.
I mean, he said like we're playing for 500,000, and he's like, just kidding, we're playing for $1 million.
I guess I don't know what's in their rules of like, the money can be changed or increased anytime. I don't know, whatever. Right. But take that out of it. I don't know. I made that up. But I don't think that part of the episode was a direct to them statement. But yeah, like, I think these kinds of people are always thinking about that and churning on the possibilities.
The direct to them also wasn't about the captains deciding the prize pool, right? That was to us, or was that to them?
That was also in voiceover, and I'm very curious to know if that gets told to them, and if so, at what point.
I hope it does, and I would assume it would be when there's some sort of permanent captain, like people know, like, all right, do you trust this person to split the money? And that's when they bring the mutiny part into it. Like, oh, you don't think they're gonna keep it with you? Like, do a mutiny or whatever. I would assume that would be when they would broach that, and not just like springing on them at the final. That would be kind of shitty.
Yeah, I agree. Or worse, at the end of the final.
At the end of the final, yeah.
One thing I just want to plug about the Orange team, I thought it was really interesting here. Like, I'm very impressed with Deb, because Tori and Michelle are both manipulating Deb, but also, like, I think they genuinely like Deb. But they're like, would it be okay if I made you captain? Which is like, you will immediately not get safety next week. And you're going in. But like, Deb Chubb, we love you, Deb Chubb.
I think
Deb. Yeah, I think Deb really handles it well, because I think Deb is smart enough to know what's going on, and also smart enough and there for a good time enough to be like, this is what it is. I'm on this amazing team. We'll win with this team. I'd love to be safe. I don't want to be the scapegoat, but like, I'll take my lump on the first day.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good play from her.
Totally. I think there's a huge benefit to being like the easy-go-lucky, likable rookie. Like, I think, you might go into one of the first two eliminations, as like all rookies end up doing, but if you are that likable and you do perform pretty well, like, maybe now and then they start to focus on like a vet that they kind of don't like. So I think that's the move. Also, I can't believe you haven't brought this up, but this would be one of the first things you brought up, because I immediately thought of you. I think it was Deb who said this when the question was like, oh, was CT smart? Or I think it was his CT smart. And Deb was like, I know he's good at puzzles, but is he smart? Because like, puzzles isn't math, and like, those are two separate things. I thought that was a debate we've had for like years about, is puzzles math? Is this actually
is math a puzzle? Yeah,
is math a puzzle? And according to Deb, those are two separate things.
Yeah, slay, agree. Yeah. But I think where Deb misses it is like, the question was, is he good at math? And the answer is yes, because they've tested him in math as well as puzzles. Right. But CT did get his lie on when he told her he would put his money on Deb over either Annalie or Letty. That can't be true.
Probably not.
All right. In the arena, here's something I don't understand. And we talked about this. Like, people are making kind of long-term decisions, you know, from a social perspective, not necessarily from a who's going to win the final perspective, which fair enough. It's early days, to quote Deb's Origin, Love Island. Why on earth would Keanu and Adrienne put in Reilly, the objectively weakest member of the team? Maybe I'm answering my question as I say this. Versus an opportunity to put Anna Leigh in. Is Anna Leigh who gets nominated? Yes. Now, maybe it's because they'd rather keep Deb around because the orange team needs to be weakened more than the blue team. But it feels like it's more of a social-based decision.
Yeah, I think it was more social because, I mean, maybe when you're lining it up, Reilly and Deb probably don't seem to be too different, but it clearly comes out of it that Deb seems to have way more of a stamina than Reilly does. So I think, you know, she crushed this and did great. But I think that's probably, I think they just liked Deb and they were like wanted to build that relationship and with people that she had a relationship with too.
Yeah, fair enough.
How many people over under in the comment section? I'll say like 13 and a half people complaining about the amount of crowd noise that was happening in this elimination from the peanut gallery.
Okay, I mean, it didn't bother me.
No, but people always complain like, "Oh, you shouldn't be able to help someone in elimination. Do it on your own." Blah 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 blah.
I'd like to understand better, and I did look at Neresa's Twitter. Maybe I'll look again just in case something else has occurred. Like, there seemed to be a lot of blame in Ankara for Reilly's mess ups. I didn't really understand how the crowd noise could be like blamed that much for her result.
I guess just like the direction that she was giving was wrong. Ankara was throwing it again as she threw the trivia portion. I don't know. It is very funny because this was almost like identical to a Big Brother challenge they did like 2 weeks ago, but like to a Big Brother was a much smaller scale. Like this is like 5 tube, like 20 ball thing. The Big Brother one was like a 3 or 4 ring with like 3 or 4 rings on each one. So like very different scaling, but a very similar concept of like moving one thing back and forth so all the colors line up.
Yeah,
and in fact, Keanu himself did this version of it in his season of Big Brother and won, I believe.
Yeah, I thought it was like again in terms of the scale, it was cool. It was cool to use like the ledge and stuff of the arena, take it out of the 2D space. I liked it. It was fine.
Yeah, the sabotage ball was a womp womp dud. I don't really know what the point of that was, but it did not hit. When people are just like throwing it away, I feel like, you know, don't include that or maybe rethink of what you could do with it.
Well, they had to throw, like, it was only to be used once. Or you're saying like the sabotage ball could have gone back and forth?
I thought so.
Interesting.
Oh, I don't know.
That would make sense. I guess I interpreted it as you get one sabotage ball and you can run it over there. And so when they like went and got the ball, they threw it away. But like, yeah, I mean, it's fair. That would have been more interesting if they had the opportunity to go back and forth.
But I don't think it would have been interesting. It takes so much effort just to drop it in, and it's at the top of the tube. It's not like you can slide it in at like the bottom of the tube, and then you have to like get every single ball out to get. Like if you just put it at the top of the tube, it takes 2 seconds just to like take that ball out and throw it away. You should be able to, like, put it wherever you want.
I think Deb did it most effectively. One of them dropped it when somebody's tube was mostly empty, and then it like makes you go all the way down. But then you got to really be paying attention to them, you know. And it actually helped Deb. It was like Deb was able to like catch her breath and get some water while the sabotage was going on. Because also, what to your point about the effort, like when you're going over there to drop the sabotage ball, you're not still working on something on your side.
Right.
Yeah. But they tried something.
Tough for Reilly to go out second both seasons. You know, she wants to come back and be challenge champ. I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like we don't see Reilly again. Or should we do our stacked ranking of most likely to return from the people that give it a ducks? I think we have a very easy 2-person list right now.
Yeah, considering TJ pretty much guaranteed that Cedric would get another chance.
Yeah, I think Cedric 1, Reilly 2. And
Big gap. Reilly.
Yeah, I think Reilly will be. I could see her being 24th on the list, honestly. So that could be her.
I mean, do you think Cedric should come back?
Yeah, I think there's more in the tank for Cedric. I think there's just a weird season for him coming off 41. It was a great performance season for him, but I think he was just so involved in a lot of the social politics. I think he almost needed a season of like people getting their whippings on him. And then it's like, all right, let's come back fresh. And now Cedric can kind of work his charm. I think it's just like it was not a good dynamic season for him. I think if there is a 43, I can see him doing pretty well again.
I get like everyone needs to grow up. Cedric has never done anything as bad as half the people in this house in terms of like being snaky. And he just wants to play. Like, honestly, like he has such a Nelson quality in terms of like a reverence for the game. Like Nelson, Annalie, and Cedric together, just like talking about how much they love the show. We were robbed.
We were. I would have loved to see more of the Annalie prep school. Like I wish she had like notes or like a flashback of her watching. I think they could have done more with that to see exactly what she was doing, the prep.
Not enough. The new captains are Cory and Nerys for the gray team, Brad and Letty for blue, Deb and Bananas for orange. I mean, there's only 2 men left to be chosen to be protected for the opportunity for safety. So, like, again, to your point, doesn't really say much. And then we just get a quick montage of the hookups. Like, Cory again, one-sided interest in Izzy so far. Adrienne and Josh just off to the races. Will and Deb off to the races. And a very romantic date from the Banana Man with Letty.
A lot of fun romantic vibes in the house. So the other thing that'll be interesting is obviously Blue is now down to 6 people. This daily, there was no impact with less people. I wonder what they do. Are people sitting out? Or is Blue just going to be way disadvantaged? We're going to try to incorporate some challenges where having less people is an advantage to try to get them a win. Because like if they can't do so many like non-physical dailies, that's not what the show is. So it'll be interesting to see how they balance like the 8-8-6 and if it goes to 8-8-5 and like what they kind of do with Blue.
Yeah, I think on the original Cutthroat, they made people like go twice if there was something physical, or they still made people like carry the same burden. That will be interesting. Here's something very low tech. Whose foot is this? So this is a screenshot of Letty in the bathtub with Bananas.
Is that not Bananas' foot?
It has the same nail polish as Letty's, so maybe they did pedicures together. Bananas has a very well manicured foot. Yeah. And Bananas and her both had like pedals in their toes. Bananas is not beating the foot allegations.
Oh, I forgot about that. Big foot guy.
Foot enthusiast allegations.
Yeah, big foot guy.
That's it.
No better way to end
it. And I'll leave it there.
No better way. Good first 2 episodes. You can subscribe if you want to hear more about that. Rob has website.com/challenge feed. Join the Facebook group. It's popping over there. A lot of good conversation. A lot of good dialogue. A lot of fun.
Not me posting like a challenge premiere Eve post, but then not posting on the day of to get like.
Well, you know what it is, because like peek behind the curtain, we just had to watch this episode with everyone else. So normally we're prepared, we're ahead of time, and it's like, oh, we're with the Pueblings of watching this, when it first airs. So we're kind of thrown off with our timeline.
I'm so sorry because Brian has been amazing at muting himself before he coughs every time, and I had the sneezes coming on that you just heard. And I forgot. I'm rusty. I was like looking for the mute, but it's like lower. So I'm sorry.
Right. We're an hour and a half in. People can deal with a couple of calls here and there.
I'm not sure. I would get DQ'd from the podcast.
You would. Oh yeah. Twitter, Cohen Brian _ I can follow you.
We're over that.
We're over that. Join the Facebook group. We're all over there. That'll do it. Until next time. Have a good one.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.